What up and welcome to Keeping It Loco. I'm Justin.
I'm Pam Fender.
And it's been a minute. We haven't shot an episode in a little while.
It's the summer. Who cares, right?
Who cares? So we're back, and we are back with some pretty amazing guests. We got Dr. Kiera Emery, and we have Cruiz Emery here, who are entrepreneurs. They're husband and wife. They own their own supplement company. They're doing some pretty big things in the Charlotte community. And so tell us a little bit about yourself. Well, first, thank you for being on.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, definitely. So just tell us a little bit about yourselves, guys.
All right, I'll let you go.
Okay. Like you said, so we actually own a local pharmacy up in Concord, North Carolina, just a few minutes away from the racetrack. Mm-hmm. And then also we own a mainly e-commerce business with a supplement company called Emery Solutions, where we currently sell some targeted multivitamins that were formulated by my beautiful wife, Dr. Emery. And then with that, we're also trying to grow that business and grow our offerings. And yeah, pretty much.
Very nice, very nice. Well, talk to us about your personal story. Like, obviously, I know you guys were in the military together.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't share that with you.
Yeah, so we actually met. So we just celebrated our 10-year anniversary.
You didn't tell us where you went.
Yes.
Lots of places.
Oh, really?
Oh, wait, for the military or for the
for
cruise?
anniversary.
Anniversary.
Cozumel, Mexico, and then Bimini, which is a island owned by Virgin.
Yeah.
I don't think it's owned by Virgin, but they have their private beach club. So we went on a Virgin cruise and stopped in Mexico,
it was amazing.
and then
It was amazing.
to the private beach club from Virgin. But yeah, it was nice. 5 days, got to relax.
Got to get away from the kids.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Partly got to get away from the businesses.
Yeah, still owning two businesses. We still did have to work on our cruise, but got to relax a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, being self-employed, there is no days off.
Yeah.
I mean, there isn't.
You never stop working.
No, you got to be passionate about it. Yeah. The store is still open, guys, while we're doing this. So if you still need your meds, feel free to walk right in. So you said 10 years, anniversary cruise, went to Mexico, but did you guys kind of meet in the military?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
So we're both in the Navy. We met at our command, VFA 41. We both work on aircraft. She was an electrician on aircraft. I was an avionics technician.
Oh, wow.
We worked in the same shop for a while, acting as plane captains, which is kind of the ground crew for aircraft.
Mm-hmm.
So we would do the hand communications with the pilot, make sure everything was safely operating. But yeah, we did that. She was in for 4 years. I was in for 5 years. And after we got out, got married, had kids, went to college.
Did you guys both live in Charlotte before you were in the military?
Neither of us did.
No, yeah. I'm from Louisiana originally.
Okay.
He's from upstate New York.
Okay.
Um,
What part of New York?
Up by Syracuse, so actually not too far from.
We're both from Rochester.
She's from Rochester.
oh, you're from there too?
And we met here.
Yeah. Most of my friends here were Rochester. They're down here. We didn't know each other up there. We might not have been friends up there either. Who knows, right?
Right.
We don't know.
Different place and time.
Yeah, different place. So that's awesome. So how did you guys find Charlotte then?
Yeah. I thought you were about to start talking.
So after she finished pharmacy school,
And you said it was in Columbia with USC, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
so she got a residency offer at a local independent pharmacy up here.
Okay.
And that's kind of what dragged us up here during COVID. It was 2020.
Oh, wow.
So we found an apartment without ever seeing it. That was regretful. It was not that nice.
By the way, people, so you don't even know, I sell real estate, and a lot of houses were bought that exact same way, and they're committed probably for 4 or 5 years, not just a year, right?
Yeah. And it sucks because you don't even know what you're walking into.
Nope. No. So at least you only had a 1-year lease. You didn't have like hey, I got a mortgage that's got a good interest rate that I don't ever want to sell.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that brought us to the Charlotte area, and then really after residency, we actually just liked the area, so we decided to stick around, and then we ended up buying a house also. And then,
about 10 minutes up the street from here.
Oh, nice.
And then actually she was kind of looking for some part-time work after residency, so she actually popped in here seeing if they needed a pharmacist. She ended up covering for the pharmacist that was on staff that day.
Oh, wow.
So did a kind of just immediate working
honestly,
interview.
In my opinion, this place was ordained. Is it a headache every day? Yes. Yes, it is. But I feel like this was meant for me.
Staff members.
The staff members are currently working, so they all know who they are.
So when I was actually in pharmacy school, I was in pharmacy school to be a psychiatric pharmacist. I thought that that's what I wanted to do. And I talked to one of the advisors, and he recommended that I look into business ownership. Would you mind going to grab the phone? So the advisor recommended that I actually go to an ownership boot camp that was coming up. And I was like, yeah, I'm not interested in ownership. Why would you? And he's like, well, everything you're telling me, you know, I think that you should at least give it a try. So I came home and I talked to Cruiz about it. And he was like, what do we have to lose? Like, let's just go ahead and go. And we went, and I fell in love with it.
Did you really?
Yes, immediately. After that, we went to every ownership boot camp we could find. I had, there's this company called Independent RX.
Okay.
They do a big ownership boot camp for current owners and people who are interested in owning. And I reached out to them, and I was like, hey, you know, I'm a student. I've been to all the other ownership boot camps. Like, I'm looking for more information at this point. You guys seem like you're on top of it. Can I come? I don't have any money. And they were like, well, we've never done a scholarship before, but they were willing to give me one. So I kind of helped create their first scholarship program.
Oh, that's nice.
Just by asking. And they were so nice, and they gave me so much information. We actually work with them today.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I had them help me purchase this place because I wanted to give it back.
Right. That's great.
So once I figured out that, yes, I want to do ownership one day, I was like, what tools do I need to put in my toolbox? So while I was in pharmacy school, I decided to go ahead and add an MBA on top of that.
Okay.
I
mean, why not add more to that? I heard
Why
that.
not?
Yeah, I heard being a pharmaceutical person that it's a very stressful job. So adding a business degree on top of that?
Definitely.
What were you thinking?
What were you thinking?
She operates on high level of stress. That's what she needs to be at.
Yeah,
to
it's
be
like
able
To be successful?
No, just to feel not
That
bored,
honestly,
I think.
yeah, in a way, I think it is to feel successful. Do I feel like I'm doing anything if I'm not doing the most?
Yeah.
You know, like, is one business enough? Are you really successful? Add two, then you'll be successful.
Yeah,
Right.
we did start them kind of the same time. We started the supplement business probably 2 months before we started the process of buying this place. Because we just like to do
He's
do it
saying
all.
I come up with the idea, and
I'm on for
I'm
it.
very convincing when I want something, and he's just kind of like, yeah, that sounds great. We can do it, and then we just do it.
It's good to have that support.
So then you
I mean,
had
it was also, this is also just a couple months after we had our second baby too.
Oh, that's right. That was after the last podcast, right? Because you were expecting at that point, right?
No, I'm gonna kick your butt later. Yeah, if anybody saw that video, ignore my posture. I hope it's better now.
So I have a real question. I do have a real question because I don't know their story. So the question is that, so you went to school for these things. What did you go to school for? Because you guys went to school, right?
So I went to school. I got my bachelor's in this business with a focus in accounting,
Okay.
and then went for my MBA with an emphasis on entrepreneurship.
Now, did you guys go do your MBA at the same time, or were you already in the program and then she's like, let me get my MBA too?
So I graduated with my undergrad when she graduated with her PharmD
Okay.
MBA. So I was a couple of years behind.
Okay.
Once I did my undergrad, then that's when I did my MBA. So I graduated with my MBA in 2022. And then because apparently I don't like to be bored either, I did also then sign up for a certification as a certified quantitative financial analyst.
Okay.
And actually just finished that this past spring.
So just sitting here with you today, do both of you put 100% into this business, or then do you do something different? Like, is this...
So we both quit our day jobs back in February, actually.
February, wow.
Yeah, so we went full on entrepreneur at that time. We both were working remotely, which we tried to take advantage.
To handle three
of-
jobs,
yeah.
3 full-time jobs. We're trying to handle the health and wellness brand, this pharmacy, and trying to also commit to our day jobs.
Yep.
Wow.
I was
And-
a financial analyst for Collins Aerospace. She was a medical writer at that time, so just trying to balance all that
And then
with
still
2
play
kids.
mom and dad.
Yeah.
I mean, the customer lines, they call us till around 11 o'clock at night sometimes.
Yeah, before we change our business hours. Yeah.
Right. We get emails all throughout the day. I mean, we're up all night. We're up all day.
Facebook
We're
comments,
tired.
Facebook messages,
Oh,
messages
gosh.
on website,
Because we're still so
emails.
small, we have to,
We're still customer service.
we're still
Right.
customer service. And then I got my kids over here,
Right.
Star.
Yeah. Right. I mean, to your point, you're not just doing the business, but then you're also, the employer.
Yep.
You're
Wear
the
multiple
CPA,
hats. Yeah.
which, to be honest, I don't even know if you guys know this. This is why we put this podcast together, was because as entrepreneurs, We want to give it back to the community, but at the same time, people don't understand why you should be supporting local businesses. We wear all the hats. Like, we don't have a customer service line, or or I have a CPA that's in my back pocket that just takes care of all my stuff for me. Like, we have to wear so many hats. And I really appreciate you guys putting it out there, because to the point, some people are just like, oh yeah, I'm great. Like, just come see me. And it's like, no, we want to know the real person.
Yeah.
So it's actually funny. My nickname from all of them, IT,
and
HR. So when they have a complaint, like the printer stops working, I come in and have to fix the printer. And, if someone says something inappropriate, they're like, HR, I have to come and counsel some.
It's almost kind of funny. It's almost like you're ChatGPT. Okay, you need to wear this hat and speak this language to get me this content.
Act as an IT
it's just
precisely.
exactly.
That's exactly it.
That's awesome.
So how does it feel like just being full-time entrepreneurs now? I know it's hard, but as far as like the rewarding part of it, like, has that part set in yet?
So this past year has been honestly one of the hardest years of, I could say, my life. I'm sure you can say the same thing. I mean, the amount of emotional, financial, like, ups and downs. We are finally climbing out of this hole that we were in when we first bought the place. And I'm actually starting to feel like, okay,
You can breathe.
I can breathe and I can do this.
We can actually see the daylight above the water line. We're still underwater.
Yeah.
Like in many instances.
But I mean, to turn a failing business around in a year,
And
that's actually
fresh startup from
that is
scratch,
amazing.
too.
And I feel like we don't give ourselves enough credit because we're in it day to day. We can't see those bigger
small
changes
ones.
that have been.
We never give ourselves credit because we're just always like crawling to get farther, right? And you're just like, but you gotta. They talk about what's that to win for that day, right? And sometimes you just have to pause. I mean, I know you guys went on vacation for your 10th anniversary, but sometimes for business, by the way, we've been doing coaching together. He's been sucking at it, by the way, but we're not gonna go into that. But
not enough medication, you know what I mean?
Oh, this is normal. This is normal. But sometimes as business owners, what you gotta do is sometimes give yourself that day or that moment, say, you know what, we did really well. And sometimes it's going out to a real nice dinner and just celebrating, like, hey, there's a milestone, or or putting something together. Because even in our coaching, one of the guys' suggestions was he takes one day off every 2 weeks just to unplug. And for me, unplugging would mean that I'm just not going to show houses, or maybe I'm not going to talk real estate, but I'm still picking up my phone. There's no way.
Because you feel like you can't.
Oh, no.
That's not an option.
No. And I just posted on Facebook today about you talk about vacation, that how many times do your relatives and your family get mad at you while you're on vacation? And I'm like, every time. Pam, are you really going to be a part of this vacation, or are you just going to work? Or Pam, are you going to calm down?
Oh, yeah. No one understands. No one understands. I love my sister, and if she's going to be watching this, I'm so sorry ahead of time. My sister came to visit us.
Oh, you're calling someone out. That's awesome. I love you. Yeah, good. I like this.
So that's okay, because she loves me. I love her. But her and her family came down to visit us a few weeks ago, about a month ago. And she hates it when I work. She hates it. And I'm like, girl, there's no options for me.
Right.
So I was responding back to some emails and some comments, because she's on her phone across the room, just, why can't I be on my phone?
Working.
Right. She didn't need to know what I was doing. Right. Of course, her nosy butt comes over. She's like, are you working? Why are you always, just tell them you'll take time off. Like, that's not how this works.
It doesn't work like that.
No. I actually had a comment from a family member that said, oh, if it takes the hours that you work to be successful in real estate, then I'm not going to, I would never do that. And I'm like, fair enough. If that's your choice. But then, 5 years later, you come and ask me for money. It's like,
right. And everybody's built differently.
They are.
So some people are built for
I totally
entrepreneurship,
agree,
some people
but
aren't.
I'm just
It's
saying,
the judgment.
right? Because I'm being judged because the
You're
priority.
trying your best.
I do. I put my family and my friends and stuff, and I mean, our relationship, we've been together for 3 years starting this, but we have a commitment to what we're doing here because we really believe in what we're doing. So I do have that balance, but in my opinion, again, if I'm going to be good at something and I'm going to help people with the biggest purchase of their lives, you better believe I'm going to give the dedication for it. And I'm sorry that your feelings are hurt that you're sitting on the couch playing Candy Crush, but I'm answering a text message, right? Like,
like if you want to be above average, you have to have above average work effort. So like, I can understand. Like we talk about all the times when we get super stressed. Like we could just go back to day jobs,
Right.
work 9 to 5.
Some days I'd kill
and
to
just
just
we
go
could have
back
a
to
very
the
comfortable life
simple.
doing
Oh.
it.
Yes.
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 And I think that's we all feel like
Yeah.
that, you know. Just
But
some
we're
days it just be
aiming
easier to
towards-
go back and just give all this up. But what's the bigger dreams? You know.
Yeah, and you're building equity
more.
for yourself,
And
you
for your
know.
children,
So exactly,
you know?
So it's worth it. It's hard, but and
It
a
is
couple
hard
years
work.
from now, when this is all running on its own, and you're not have to worry
You can
about
work
it.
Right.
20 hours a week.
Yeah.
And just kind of relax and have
Mhm.
two
Yeah.
businesses that are
Mhm.
successful.
Mhm.
Yeah.
By that time, probably more because we don't know how to do things a little.
No, I told God, I was like, if you just make this work out, I will not put more on my plate. I will not do it.
And I already called her out. Like, you just lied to God.
Yeah.
you just
Yeah.
lied.
Why you told God that?
Yeah. Exactly. No, I hear you.
So you know, our podcast is really it's local, right?
Yeah.
It's keeping it local, and so there's a lot. Our viewers are Charlotte people
Right.
who live in Charlotte. What would you want them to know about your business? Obviously, we want to increase your business. We want people to start utilizing you guys.
Yeah.
What is that one thing that you guys want to direct people to do, or service can you
Well,
provide for them?
and can I just say an add on to what he's saying? There's a lot of places that their doctor just asks them what pharmacy they want to use without even thinking twice about it, right?
Mhm.
And it's not necessarily a local business. So
Mhm.
maybe we can kind of even touch on to that a little bit too, because
Mhm.
most people don't care where they get their pharmacy from. It's
Right.
just a suggestion. When you're like, oh, I don't know,
Mhm.
the doctor's suggesting it. But maybe here, knowing that you want to support local owners, you know, there's no reason why not to try out.
Absolutely.
And where you are, it doesn't matter because they deliver. So
We deliver. We ship.
Yeah.
Like,
I get my stuff delivered.
I mean, Justin, if you call into my store,
Mhm.
compared to CVS or Walgreens,
Yeah.
you can tell a difference, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, you
Right away.
You answer the phone.
Yeah, you answer the phone, I ask a lot of questions, and you guys answer my questions, and then I can have my stuff delivered.
Are you pleased with the service so far?
Absolutely.
And I don't think Justin would just lie to y'all.
I wouldn't. I don't even know how to lie like that. So I
He
don't.
doesn't. When I
I-
call him out, he's like, yeah, I guess you're right.
I'm so serious.
It's like, I'm not even going to try to fight it.
good lie.
Takes so much effort to come up with a
It
lie.
does.
I love that, actually.
But I will say that when we put this out there, we'll make sure that everybody has a link to
Yeah.
to you so that they can do that.
Yes.
And-
Compounding is our
Yeah.
Explain that,
biggest
explain
thing we
that.
do. So people need personalized medications for their dogs, for themselves, for their children. We offer all of that. We do a lot of hormones. We do a lot of for pets. One of our dogs passed away recently.
Mhm.
The other dog is having a really hard time coping. So now she's on trazodone and gabapentin. We tried giving her the capsules, and for those of you who can give your pets capsules, more power to you. I don't know how y'all do it. It took two of us, one to like hold her mouth open and the other to yeet the medication down her throat.
Uh-huh.
Anyways, we make these into treat form,
Mhm.
which we now give our dog, and now medication time is fun.
Oh,
Wait,
awesome.
you said it's commercial.
So yeah, right.
I mean, that's
Tired of
Yeah.
eating meds
So
down your dog's
The big
throat.
thing about compounding, if you don't know what it is, it's pretty much we make the medicine in the back of our pharmacy.
Mm-hmm.
So we can make it into like any form or
Yep.
dosing you
Yeah, you need it in a solution, a suspension. You want it in a treat. Do you want it in
Wow.
a capsule? I don't know why you would, but
Yeah.
we do a lot of hormone creams. We do semaglutide and tirzepatide, which is also known as Wegovy or Ozempic and Mounjaro. We do those. It's in the oral sublingual version. If you don't have a doctor that's willing to prescribe it, we do have a doctor that we work with. Yeah, we pretty much as long as it's non-sterile, we can do it hazardous and non-hazardous drugs. So
Yeah.
we're really trying to get out there and market, and you know,
We're one of the few left. The regulations for compounding became a lot more strict, so a lot of
Mhm.
pharmacies are stopping doing it.
mhm.
Even like CVS, Walgreens, they used to do like magic mouthwashes, simple stuff. They don't do that anymore. That's all stuff we can do in house. And with compounds, especially, we do free shipping anywhere statewide.
Mhm.
Um, But so even on top of like you were saying, support local. Even if you are outside Charlotte or too far away from us, you just when your doctor asks you that question, where do you want your scripts sent? Just pause real quick and Google the closest independent pharmacy to you, and try them out.
Yeah. Let
Nothing
them
against
earn,
CVS,
let them earn your
Walgreens, but
business.
so CVS, Walgreens just aren't going to care as much as
Yeah.
most independents. I won't
Right.
speak for all of them, but I would say most of them you're going to get better customer service
Mhm.
than the big chains. So just stop and Google real quick independent pharmacies in your area, and try them out.
The loco.
We are.
The loco.
For sure. You know, as we're talking about meds, you know, there's a lot of people who don't like taking pharmaceuticals in general. And he talked earlier, and we kind of just went over a little bit. I know that we have them in our hands. These are really good supplements that you created to kind of help with maintaining health, right?
Yes, yes. So, and I'll just take the blood sugar support out of your hand. So a lot of diabetics, for example, are on metformin.
Okay.
We can actually talk about Cruiz here. He, you know, as stress and diet kind of get out of hand sometimes. I initially created this blood sugar support for him. He was diagnosed with type 2 when he was 32 years old, 31?
32, yeah.
32. They put him on metformin. He was having a hard time with it. I realized there's really no supplements out there that are replenishing those nutrients that are lost when you're taking these meds.
Yeah.
So I created this one, and then I also created those. Now this didn't happen overnight. This was a long period of research. But in a nutshell, I created this for him, and he was able to actually come off of his metformin eventually. But that was with diet. He changed to a keto diet.
Yeah.
It took a lot of effort. It took, what, 3 months?
Yeah,
Would you say?
Yeah, I think, if I remember correctly, 3 or 4 months in.
He went to the keto diet, exercised every day.
Yeah, and you got to be careful. One thing I always tell people is just know your numbers, and you can't do that without actually just checking your blood sugars on a regular basis, multiple times a week. Check your fasting, even your after meals, kind of see what foods really spike your blood sugars. I found personally that alcohol was a big factor. So
Cinnamon buns for me.
I believe that.
So I've never been much of a sweet person, but
I'm not either.
carbs and alcohol is like those are my two vices for a long time.
Yeah. I'm not a big cinnamon bun person, but we would go to events and stuff, and people would have it there, and I hadn't eaten breakfast, so I'd just have a little bit, and I'm on the floor afterwards. Like, I'm passed out. Like, I'm out.
Really?
My sugar spikes that much with it.
Wow.
And I just thought it was hormonal, too, because I'm like, oh, maybe it's just my hormones, but every time it's by the way, I've really only done it 3 times, but I'm like, okay, the 3rd time you're just out, right? It's just like you go to Taco Bell, right? And you have it, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm not doing Taco Bell for the next 5 years. Right? But yeah, no, so I don't know why that is, but it just spikes so high.
So every person's going to be a little bit different. So every diabetic is going to have potentially different things that really affect them. So that's why I spent time figuring out is actually just checking my blood sugars, figuring out what was working, what wasn't working.
Yep.
And that's when I found the keto diet. Even just after a few days for me of like just cutting out carbs, cutting out alcohol, my blood sugars immediately started coming down to the point where they were getting so low in the mornings for my fasting. They were dropping in the 30s and 40s. So that's when I actually went to my doctor and talked to him and decided as long as I was going to be staying with that diet, to probably I can wean myself off the metformin and just
and
again
do
do that and just diet and exercise and just still keep an eye on my levels so that way if I do fall off the wagon, which has happened here and there, that I need to make sure I do the right thing and either get back on the wagon or go back on my meds.
Right.
Either way, you have to be managing your diabetes.
But yeah, the blood sugar support really helped him when he was on that metformin, trying to continuously take it because of the GI issues a lot of people experience, the tiredness.
Yeah, just the constant exhaustion was a big one for me.
Yep.
It just whooped my butt.
So that's where this one really came into play. But even after he stopped taking the metformin, I mean, he continued to take that on a daily basis. Yeah. The last, I'd say 4 months, we've probably fallen off the wagon with diet and exercise, trying to get back up on it. So now he is right back on the metformin.
Yeah,
because the first thing you got to do is get the diabetes back into check.
Oh yeah,
so like
you
last
gotta get back
week,
to your levels, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think between stress and then vacation and everything. Yeah, just
a lot of
found
factors.
My blood sugars, my fasting blood sugars started creeping up back into like the 140s, 150s, 170s even. So while we're trying to get our lifestyle back in order as far as diet and exercise, just started taking my metformin again and really realized how much I hate it.
Yeah.
Just bringing back all those horrible memories. Like, man, reliving it.
You know, but you bring up a good point. First of all, we're self-employed. It's hard because, again, taking vacation, doing different things, all the priorities kind of get juggled, right? Because everything is important, right? Because when you're self-employed, like one thing gets dropped, then it kind of messes up everything else.
Right.
And then when you're talking about like, I was solid with all these things and life gets a little out of balance, like you do have to go back. But what I find very interesting about your story is that you're like, I know that I'm not just going to say, oh, just give me the drug and I'm done. It's like,
Mhm.
hey, let me take the time, research, and spend some time. And your beautiful wife actually came up with a a supplement for you that can help. But then you're like, okay, let me just get back. Like some people, when they fail, right, they don't get back up.
Oh, it's hard to.
Yeah. Yeah. So I can appreciate that in the story. I think a lot of our listeners can too, because a lot of us is just like, oh, screw it. What's the next drug you got?
Yeah.
I mean, I hear that all the time. They're like, oh yeah, I tried this, it didn't work. Well, what else did you do besides that? Okay, what's the next thing? You know?
Yeah.
And there really isn't just like this one thing, like, hey, take this and you're cure all, right?
Right.
You got to, mindset is a big thing. You know, the priorities of setting work and life balance. I don't even think we know that, right? Hopefully somehow you can have life is a part of your business, right? You can have both, but I feel like with what you guys are doing here, it really is, I feel your passion and, the stuff that you're doing, and you really do care. And I mean, to have supplements to say, hey, I'm in pharmaceuticals, but at the same time, like, you can do something besides calling your doctor for some prescriptions.
Right, because the last thing we wanted him on was something for sleep, and then something for.
Well, that's what happened is like because I was constantly exhausted, they also prescribed me a medication to help with my sleep. Which I think was like immediately
it's the domino effect, right? And my goal is to stop that before it even starts.
Yeah, which is like prescription medications do have a place.
Absolutely.
They are very important for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Our goal is not necessarily to tell you to get off of them.
Yeah.
But we want to make sure that if you're having a side effect caused by one, you're not being put on another, and then another, and then another. We can stop it. Maybe like, okay, you got one blood pressure medication that is managing your blood pressure. Great. Let's not have you have to take a fluid pill.
Right.
And a pill for this. And a pill for that.
Or if you're trying to get off of your diabetes medications, because I can't tell you how many times I'm getting questions, someone asking me, how can I get off of my medication? Just tell me how. And then I tell them how they could probably do that. Yeah. And I always tell them, you need to work with your doctor on this. This is not going to be a short-term thing. Yeah. I mean, it took years to get this way. It's going to take some time to get off of it.
Right.
And part of getting off of it is going to be, unfortunately, starting off by taking your medicine.
Right.
Because something's got to regulate all that while you're trying to get your diet and exercise under control.
Yep.
They do not want to hear that.
No, it's hard. It's hard.
The
my husband, we worked out yesterday. We're feeling it today, right? We worked out, and my husband today says, hey, do I look thinner? Being funny. And I was like, no. He's like, Pam. And I was like, so you want me to lie to you? Like, we know this is going to be a long-term
process,
thing, right? But, when we joke about it, but the other part, too, is like, man, why could we just work out one time? But there's no cure-alls, and there is that lifestyle, right? And sometimes lifestyles get out of balance.
It's a journey.
It is. It is.
You got to be ready for the journey.
I mean, even for us, like, this is our podcast that's going on, and there's a journey, and there's a lot of hard work behind it. People don't see it, but you got to be committed to making sure that, your mission statement, why you're doing things, and checks and balances.
Yeah.
If your family comes first, then you got to pause something. Yeah. And that's why we paused over the summer, just to give ourselves that time to catch up, right?
Absolutely.
So I just want to give you guys gratitude that people like you are going to show other people that they can't just give up. Some people just close their businesses over these things, and they're just like, oh, I screwed up. I made a mistake. I lost $20,000. But, sometimes you just got to breathe. You got to pray about it, right?
I've been through those moments.
Yeah. Yeah. Made a bad mistake, right? Didn't know, trusted the wrong person.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and that's one thing. Like, so, I mean, I guess either with both of our businesses. So we bought one business, and then we started up the other. So even with that contrast of like experiencing both sides of the coin as far as like how to get in business, they both come with challenges, and you're gonna make mistakes.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen. I mean, I can with the startup business, just not knowing so many things. I mean, even recently having meetings about expanding our business and scaling.
Yeah.
Learning, like talking to new people, learning like, oh shit, we did marketing, the wrong way. We went full into like pay per click, where we probably should have started a little slower,
right?
But
SEO
cheaper, and do
campaign.
like really expanding SEO.
And then you get so expensive,
So right now we find that our business is kind of dependent on one area of marketing where we need to diversify. So just learning those lessons, like, okay, well now we got to come up with this new 1-year marketing plan and diversify our marketing portfolio and how we're getting our name out there and how we're going to grow.
And branding yourself, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then think, kick yourself in the butts, because we did SEO, and if we started that a year ago, like when we first started
Where would
talking
we be
about it,
today?
would
But
we
a lot
be
of
in a better
it's,
place?
coulda, shoulda, woulda, and honestly, these were necessary to happen. We needed to learn these hard times.
Well, to your point, you started your business. You said you literally started the avenues right while you're still in college, right? So, and during COVID, things were different too. So the way you branded yourself or marketed yourself during COVID is totally different than you are after COVID. And I'm in the same boat. And again, me and Justin are doing coaching right now, but I was just like, if I'm going to continue to do my business, and I've been in the business for 10 years, I'm going to continue to do this. What is it I can do now to take it to the next level?
Yeah.
Right.
Because those roller coasters, and by the way, those things are real. I can go to closing day and, I have a check, right? You think I'm thinking about the check? Oh no, I am like, okay, what do I have next? Do I have, because if I don't have any business after it, right?
Yeah.
How long does that money need to
As
cover a year?
entrepreneurs, we got to think 6 months, 3 months in the future.
Yeah.
So.
And I do try to remember, like, on those days, like, obviously my clients are thankful for me, things like that. But it's one of those things, like, great. Yeah, but, they're like, hey, let's go to lunch. I'm like, I got to get back to work. I was at a happy hour last night, and everybody's like, hey, why don't you stay around? I'm like, listen, I got to negotiate repairs. Like, tomorrow is D-Day. Like, so I got to go home. They're like, wait, it's 8 o'clock. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be working for the next 12 hours. So, so to that point, like, you don't know the difference. What I'll say, though, is we have been getting a coach that's been working with us on, where we go with our next steps so that we don't make bad decisions. But the biggest thing that I've noticed about our coaching that we've done is the fact of the connections. They're like, hey, why don't you think, because they're thinking in their brain, right? And so we think in a different level, and they're like, why don't you do this? Or why don't you do that? Or why don't you connect with this person? And there were things that we never even thought about.
So the coaching turns into a networking session at the same time.
Right.
It
Yeah.
does happen. So we have a mentor that we actually just brought on as a business manager, in a sense, like part-time to help us out. Having people like that. So he has his own supplement company, but he started his back, early 2000s.
Yeah.
Very early e-commerce guy. So he has like so many other thoughts. But what we find is also during conversations, we make him realize things too. Like just because we're a little bit younger, we're entering this at a different time period. So each of our experiences brings value to each other. But then also, actually, where we met Justin is through Score. So we have a Score mentor that we have meetings
We like
with her.
mentors.
Yeah. No, as many people as willing to, especially people willing to speak to you for free, like with Score, which is amazing.
I think that's important.
Yeah, it's so important just hearing other things.
Yeah, having people share their knowledge.
The biggest thing we found with business, especially in e-commerce business, where you're working majority remotely, is finding the experts. Because you have to realize your own shortcomings. We're not an expert in SEO marketing. We're not an expert in marketing, period. We both have MBAs, but we took 2 or 3 marketing classes does not make you an expert by any means.
No.
Even as simple as, I'm the accountant for a business, but reaching out to QuickBooks when I have questions.
Oh, yeah.
Talk to the
100%.
experts. Like, don't be afraid to not know what you don't know.
No, I totally agree. And what's funny is when I got into real estate, I this might have been with you, was I actually took my license, got my license, right? And it was all about the laws. There was nothing in my real estate path did it tell me how to sell real estate. Not one thing. It didn't even tell me how to fill out the contract. It literally was like, hey, don't do this. Hey, make sure you don't do this. Had nothing to do with it. So people were like, wait, I got my license, and I'm like, and they're like, well, now I can sell real estate. Can you? Do you know how to write a contract?
Right.
Do you know how to write a contract? But to your point, like, you don't know, and a lot of times it's a little scary sometimes, because when you're getting into business, you're like, it is, you did all the research and you did it right. You literally like, hey, let me go here. Let me collect and absorb as much information as I can so that I can feel comfortable and confident that I can make that next step, right?
Yeah.
But it is scary.
It is.
Sometimes you don't know what you don't know. So that mentor is there to say, hey, you don't know this.
Yep.
And then even with having all that, we recently talked to another consultant and about like potentially trying to get into retail store shelves, right? Be able to get into the Target.
With the supplements?
Yeah. And then just having her opening her eyes, like, okay, well, you got to hit all these steps before you can even think about talking to the buyers at Walmart.
This entire time we thought we were in the walking phase, we're still crawling.
Still crawling.
We're still crawling, and it's
I'm pretty
crazy.
Sure after 10 years, I'm still crawling.
Yeah. Same here.
Don't take
Same.
that long, but you know.
Yeah. No, it's amazing just how much you really
You realize
don't
just
know within you.
how far you've
yeah.
come,
Yeah.
but also how far you have to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I will
What's the
tell you
brand?
something about Walmart is that I had a friend who had pretty good. He came out with a product, had it on Instagram, and kept just pushing it out on Instagram. Got quite a few followers on that item, and Walmart called him off of Instagram. So you know, and
So we did actually have that happen, but and we got excited.
Yeah.
But that was for Walmart Marketplace, which is like their version of Amazon.
oh really?
To be on this Walmart's website. So I'm pretty sure we are. I don't think we touched our profile in a while, but I think our products are listed still on
But we
Walmart.
do
They
need to
want that
update
cut though. They want that big cut.
They do want that for
Yeah.
sure.
We need to update that profile.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, so it's a whole different.
Have you talked to other pharmacies in the area that are local to?
We have a couple that are
supplements?
carrying our products,
Mhm.
but it's not something that we've actually really dived into too
Mhm.
much.
Yeah, we really need to dial in our marketing.
Mhm.
You mean you need another person to help out? Is what you're saying?
So probably.
The next thing you guys have to do is get these affiliate links going.
Yes,
Yeah.
we do. Yep, we got to get affiliate links. Like the task list is
Oh,
never.
Yeah.
Is real. It is definitely.
It's yeah.
So I know you guys got to go back to work, so I don't want to hold you guys too much longer. But if you want to give like some final words or some future goals or how
Some
do you want to
pieces
make money? How,
Pieces of wisdom.
Yeah. Some pieces of wisdom, but also we want you guys to make money too. So yeah. So how can you incentivize people to
Mm-hmm.
come do business with you guys?
Good question.
So I guess start with the pharmacy first.
Oh.
Please.
Please.
So I'll say if you're in the area and you're talking to your doctors and I know a lot of people actually don't know what compounding is, but if you find that you do need a compound of some sort, we hope you think of our pharmacy first.
Yeah, if you're looking for your dogs, if you want to make any of their meds into treats, call us. If you're looking to lose weight, call us. Just call us. Medicap Pharmacy and Compounding. We're out in Concord. We'll deliver to you. We will ship to you.
There you go.
Give us an opportunity to earn your business.
There you go.
Really, it can't hurt you. So,
Yeah.
And then for the supplement.
Here's the supplements.
if you've purchased our product and you leave a review, we will offer you 20% off of that order or any previous order that you've done. If you're willing to leave me a video testimonial, I will give you 40% off any bottle. If that doesn't entice you enough, email me directly at info@emerysolutions.com, and I'm willing to work out anything. We need more reviews. We've sold thousands of products, but getting people to review or just leave video testimonials is like pulling teeth. So we're not asking for 5-star ratings. We're asking for honest reviews, but we do need more.
5 stars helps.
5 stars does help. But yeah, just reach out to us. We're always available.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being on the podcast.
Yep.
Um,
And I do have something to say.
Go ahead.
So,
You
to
don't have
exactly-
ask, just interrupt. Go ahead.
well, you're about to end us, so I just wanted to make sure I put it out there. And if you haven't got the gist of what we're doing here, do me a favor and make sure that whatever you are doing for your pharmacy, regardless of what it is, that you're going local. So, if they can deliver, there's no reason why not to do something different. But for the people that are here supporting our community and giving back to our community, you have to support them because you never know when you're going to need those people. And if they're not here because you don't support them, then it's on you, no one else.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that's keeping it local.
We are local.
With Pam and Justin. Thank you to the Emerys.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you guys. And bring your business here.